You come home in the evening, you stay out all night long. The more I try to please you, the more you do me wrong. Go ahead, live while your heart is free. Do what you wanna, be what you wanna be. Now I'm not trying to tell you I choose the life you live, but if it make you happy, then don't go against your will. Go ahead, live while your heart is free. Do what you wanna, be what you wanna be. Now let me help you, baby, and don't you be no fool, 'cause someone out there waiting for what you about to lose. Go ahead, live while your heart is free. Do what you wanna, and be what you wanna be.
Age 23, disappeared on April 6th from his Murfreesboro home. His body was found at around midnight on April 9th. He had been
Was the
decapitated.
Christmas greeting sent out by a hate group going by the name the Great White Brotherhood of the Iron Fist. 12 people at the University of Chicago, including students, professors, and administrators, received the cards. Everyone who received the cards were believed by
An Adams County
to be
judge
homosexual.
convicted Stephen Roy Carr of first-degree murder in a shooting that killed Rebecca White and critically wounded her lover, Claudia Brenner. In a move praised by Brenner, the gay community, and victim advocates, the judge also dismissed arguments by the defense that the victim's sexual orientation and behavior...
Donald R. Kurta and Robert L. Berger, both successful Chicago accountants, were murdered in their Northwest residence. The men had been shot to death with a 9mm handgun. 10 rounds had been fired.
I'm standing in line at a local 7-Eleven. It's late. I'm coming home from a pleasant night out. I want a drink and maybe a snack, and I've made my choices. So I'm standing, waiting, reading the tabloid headlines. Man eats own face. Whitney Houston's pregnancy nightmare. I killed a vampire with AIDS. Glancing behind me, I notice the man who is staring at me, and not in a way that I like. I try to ignore him, but I can still hear him breathing. I glance back again, and I get the impression that he lives to hang around in 7-Elevens late at night to make people uncomfortable. I flip through an uninteresting TV guide as the woman in front of me finishes buying her Camel filters. I sigh gently, and just as I'm about to reach the register, I hear behind me. I panic. I try to figure out what I've done wrong. Is my haircut too feminine? Am I overdressed from the club? Did he notice my 2 earrings? Am I being too polite? I feel my ears turn red as I watch the clerk try not to overhear as she taps the register keys. I can feel his eyes on my back. I know that he's still staring, waiting for me to react. Is it my cologne? Was I humming an Erasure song? God, am I wearing my Stop Heterosexuality Not Abortion Strike at the Cause button? Does it show that I've marched for gay and lesbian civil rights, or that I own my own copy of Madonna, Truth or Dare? As I walk away from the store, I hear the man shouting behind me, and I realize that it's none of those things that gave me away. It has to do with what day it is.
I don't know where it started from, but apparently gays and lesbians were supposed to wear green on Thursdays so that you could identify the gays and lesbians. And, you know, how many times can you say that it's a pathetic thing on society's part? There has to be a whole group of people that has to hide themselves from the day they're born till they die, just so that they can keep their jobs, so that they can live in relative safety, things like that. pardon me, but I mean, if you say you're gonna rape me, then kill me. If you say you fucking fudge pack or die right now, I wish we could just kill the lot on you, drop a bomb on all of you. It annoys me, and I don't mind blowing a couple kisses at the crowd to get them upset. What happened? We had been on a visibility action with Queer Nation, and we were down at University of Illinois because originally University of Illinois, in response to the Gulf War, had put up a free speech board. And what came out as free speech was a lot of racist, sexist, and homophobic comments, and their reaction to this was to just take down the free speech board instead of doing anything constructive on their campus to deal with the prejudices. And so we were actually asked by the University of Illinois Gay and Lesbian Alliance to come in and help them do a visibility action where we were going to be, it was termed a kiss-in, which is kind of the common term for getting together, handing out flyers, kissing in public, which of course is normal as anything for heterosexuals to do, but when one queer couple does it, suddenly it makes a different plateau altogether. One of the times we went around, we were going all through the University of Illinois Student Center, and one of the times we went into the inner circle. It was there that we encountered the most vehement reaction to the things we were doing. And it was there that we encountered a bunch of boys in the center who were yelling death threats at us, who were being as verbally provocative as possible. Fucking fudge packer, rotten hell, I'm gonna rape you first and then I'm gonna kill you, all sorts of things like that, which weren't any surprise to us. A good number of verbal death threats and rape threats will at least lead you to believe that it's not an entirely safe situation, whether they've been making physical advances or not at that point in time. And so we walked kind of like right among the knot of boys, and we're standing in a much smaller pathway, just literally feet from most of them, and then started kissing once again. And as we finished and we're holding hands and we're walking away, that's when I didn't even see him actually do it, spit on my cheek. And then there was a long...
It seemed like an hour where anything could have happened. Everyone sort of stopped and some chairs got knocked over, and it was as if everyone was going to jump on us at the same time.
Yeah. I was pretty convinced that we were going to be in the hospital. Yeah. I mean, I thought there was no question that the whole group was going to break out, and that at that point in time, we clearly didn't stand a chance of getting out physically intact. But what happened in that second, the biggest surprise of anything, was that a police officer who'd been an undercover officer who was following us that we didn't even realize it, he jumped in and slapped cuffs on the boy before he could blink. I mean, he had no idea what was happening. One minute he's eating lunch and just, cutting down a couple faggots. Next thing he knows, he's going to jail? What do you mean,
The pressure from the black community often is to ask the gay person that is black too, are you black or are you gay? We can't be gay and black. We have to be one or the other. I came out when I was about 16, accidentally, because my mother found a love letter somebody had written me, and it just sort of blew the shit out the water. But since that time, and even before then, I had this consciousness that I had to hide, that I had to, protect myself from being discovered, from being found out, because if I was, I could, risk life and limb. And I was right.
This way, what's the matter with your boy? Are you gay? Yo, I hope that ain't the case, because gay mothers get punched in the face. Word to kids, I hate faggots. They're living in the village like
I was coming from my home at 51st and Kimbark in Hyde Park, Chicago's South Side. This might sound kind of incredible that I could walk into a number as large as maybe 13. To this day, I'm not sure how many people were in this gang. They had chains, they had bats, they had sticks, they had whatever, poles, pipes, whatever. Wham! Something struck me from my left. And then as I sort of came around, I could feel, I was bleeding, and rather profusely. My lip was split from the base of my nose all the way through the top lip. The bone that supports your dentures, the top dentures and stuff, was broken. It was like a multiple fracture or whatever. and I lost several teeth. I forget, I don't know, 4 or 5 teeth or something like that. And just like from that one blow, I had blood clots form in this eye and somewhere along here too, because they were concerned about it like obstructing nasal passage in some profound way or whatever. You know, it's hard to describe. It's like I feel fear. It just overtakes me. And then I feel rage, where I want to just kill every one of those guys for like disrespecting me like that and violating me like that. And then I'm pissed at the police. There were even friends who inadvertently and sometimes very deliberately implied that it was my fault because I was somewhere I had no business being, or, you know, I mean, I was made to feel like I was like over in that area with a tutu on or something. If I decided to walk through there in a ball gown with, you know, a mile-high wig, that, you know, you still are not justified to like kick my ass because I don't look like what you think a man should look like.
One of the purposes of our program in the anti-violence is to collect statistics so that people see the reality, and people see the extent and the magnitude of these crimes. So that, you know, politicians can wake up and say, hey, you know, people are getting killed here, people are getting hurt here. The issue itself is not gay bashing, it goes way beyond that. Yeah, we're talking about violence from one human being to another human being for no other reason by that hatred for that person.
It's like we never bothered these people and they never bothered us. It was kind of like live and let live. But that night, you know, I don't know what happened with them. I looked up from lighting a cigarette, and these two guys had just jumped on Larry out of the blue, and they were screaming faggot and maricon. Maricon is Spanish for faggot. This one guy was kicking, and the other guy was swinging at him, but I didn't see him making any contact. Well, I found out why I didn't see him making any contact is he was swinging with a car antenna. And I walked right into a car antenna. It was sort of like walking into a fan is the only way I can describe it. I had a cut above this eye. This eye was almost shut. They'd hit me right in the corner of my eye. The diode on top of the antenna caught me right in the eye. So that was like swollen shut. Everywhere he hit me with the antenna, I had welts. I had welts all over my arms from putting my arms up. I had welts all over my back where he was hitting me across the back. I had welts across my belly. I had welts everywhere. Everywhere he hit me, I had a welt. And I don't know, you know, I got to the hospital that night, and it didn't really dawn on me at first what was going on. And this is something good to get out. You need to tell the police what was involved. Well, I told them, but it wasn't sinking in with any of them what had happened. And I just kept reiterating that point with the police, that, you know, they did this because we were up by a gay bar. I want to make sure this gets filed as a hate crime.
It can be argued, it has been argued by a lot of straight people, like in op-ed pages and editorials, etc. Well, what do they expect? They're saying that they're gay. They're, you know, as if this is some kind of a crime. You know, they're different than you. So that's good enough in the 90s to kill somebody. I was outside a club called Hot House on Milwaukee Avenue, and with some friends at the end of a event, and this car drove up, slowed down, gave us a look, and yelled at us, and yelled out, I think they yelled faggots. The driver did. It was a man and 2 women. And for some reason, I think I just kind of had it with that kind of thing after all these years. And as they continued on up to the intersection, there was a few doors up, I chased the car. I stuck my head in the back window, startling them, and screamed at the top of my lungs a lot of stuff back at them. And as I turned to walk away, the driver got out of his driver's seat, came around, and stabbed me in the back once, really hard, knocking me down, knocking me backwards. I fell and not only have a stab wound, but had to have stitches in the back of my head. And the next thing I know, it's like, literally, like 15 minutes later, I'm like, there's my feet ahead of me, and there's red ambulance light, and it's slow-mo, and I'm being lifted into the back of the ambulance. and the doors are closing. It was really funny. It was just, it was like a movie. I was not traumatized by this incident. It's really what I've come to expect, okay? And it's what a lot of gay people come to expect. I think a lot of people get traumatized by violence, or people who have never had people yelling out car windows or pushing them around, or you know, harassing them or beating them up constantly, you know, their whole life. I remember very well being attacked in after school by 3 guys who were really sort of my tormentors for about a year and a half, until I beat one up in the showers one day. I just had it, like attacked him and like knocked the hell out of him. And oddly enough, about 5 or 6 years later, I remember going to at 18 a gay bar, the first gay bar I ever went to, and going there a lot because I had never met very many gay people. And within 2 weeks, I ran into 2 of those guys going, okay. And we laughed about the whole thing. We first saw each other, it was like funny, it was so absurd, you know. And it was also that bar that, you know, leaving one night, I was attacked by 3 young cowboy guys. It's Denver, and they broke my nose, smashed my, you know, head in, etc. So it's like, it's all just one big blur of like, people with masks on, it seems like, pretending they're one thing and being something else. And I wonder about those cowboys who beat me up, it's the same thing.
There is a uniqueness in this minority, and it's that gays and lesbians are everywhere, in every culture, and any race, any religion, you know, everywhere. It's not that it's a separate group, it's an invisible minority. There are minorities who are visible, like Latinos, and within them there are invisible minorities, such as being a gay and lesbian. There are some patterns in hate crimes, and it's not only, it's the hatred itself is very visible in the way they attack their victims. And the crime itself is horrible. Not only it's repeatedly stabbing someone or hitting someone until the person is dead. It's that hatred. It's not only I'm going to stab you once and make sure that you're dead and that's it, but if you're gay, then I'm going to say it 1,000 times. You know what I mean? However, this is really hard to be documented as a hate crime, because not only you have to say, I hate you because you're black, or because you're Jew, or because you're gay, but yet attack, do something about it. Reality is that people have the right to hate, but no one has the right to hurt.
There's a case that's here that's, I believe the couple is, I'm not certain, but I believe the couple's on death row. And they not only killed this guy, but they beat him and they decapitated him. I mean, that's more than I don't like you. That's motivated by a whole bunch of other stuff. That they can tell at the scene of a crime if it's hate motivated. It's not a robbery and a murder. It's a robbery, it's a murder, it's mutilation of the body. It's the overkill.
Mark Crawford was leaving Irene's Cabaret, a local gay bar where he had worked a year ago. This is where police believe Crawford met Randy Schluter and Donnie Fusco. Police speculate Crawford got into their car and was driven to a nearby gas station where he called his sister's home 2:30 a.m. December 27th to say that he would be home soon. That was the last time that Mark Crawford was heard from alive.
I don't know if they forced him to go to the river or what, but it was at the river where he was murdered. And after finally getting the autopsy report, found out what killed him, and it just made me sick. They had a white sheet over his head because he was hit so many times that blood was still coming out. He died of intracranial bleeding from many, many wounds with a sharp instrument, a tire changer, over his body and in his face. And when I saw him, I almost passed out. And why? Still can't even figure out why. First they said it was gay bashing, then they said it was robbery. He had $7 on him. I cannot believe somebody could take an